Hi everyone, it's Monica, and welcome back to Tailor-Made Cards for You. Well, I'm a little late this month recording my video for my August art journal page, but I've had a rough few days. If you follow me on social media, you know that I have a couple of little dachshunds, and CJ, who was 11, had been having some problems over the last few weeks, and he finally succumbed to his symptoms, and we had to put him down over the weekend. So needless to say, it's been a little rough. So I wanted to go ahead and do a personal journal page today. I know all my journal pages are personal, but this one is extremely personal, and I wanted to go ahead and put together a page in honor of my little CJ. So while this may not be my typical type of page, this month it's for me. So I hope you stick around and watch my process. The page did turn out really cute, and hopefully you'll get a few ideas and techniques along the way. So to begin, I did add some of my white gesso to my page because I knew I was going to be adding some distress ink. As you know, white gesso is a good first layer whenever you are working on an art journal, because it will help to not only absorb some of the paint that you're using, but it also helps it to stick to the page a lot nicer had you not primed it in the first place. Now I added some really nice layers on both sides, and I wanted to add a little bit of extra gesso because what I wanted to do was to add some of my magicals, which are some powders that you can add onto a page, and they react with anything that's moist or liquid. So by having my page a little bit moist, I was able to move my my powder really easily. So once I had all of my gesso on my paper, I went ahead and took my magicals from Lindsay's Stamping Gang, and the color that I'm using is Sassy Sapphire. Now the idea for my page was to create a serene page showing my little doxie going up to heaven, and I wanted to create just a really nice background, but I didn't necessarily want to stamp some clouds. So that was the idea around the blue, is just to create some background so it would kind of look like blue skies with some white in between. And the magicals worked really well. They don't completely cover the page, but they do give it enough color to create a sky atmosphere. So once I was happy with the background, I did want to add some green to the bottom of the page. The idea for my layout was to create a blue sky and a green meadow, and then I was going to add some flowers and just a real nice scenic picture and have my little puppy floating up to heaven. Now the colors that I'm using will be listed below. I don't quite remember what green this one was, but I will list all of the colors that I've used along with all of the other products that I've used to create my page. Now, as you can see, I wasn't really going for a blending motion. I really just wanted to add some green to the bottom to create my meadow. I wasn't going for perfection on this page, and typically I don't go for perfection on my art journal pages. I just do what feels right, and I go with the feeling that I have at the moment. And at this moment, I just wanted to add some green to give it a little bit more color to create my background. Now another technique that you can use when you're creating a sky background is you can take some white piece of paper and tear it, and then you can add your ink using your white paper to create a cloud effect. I did want to add some dimension and depth to my page, so I did take some of that white paper and rip it, and then I took my blending tool along with my distress inks, and I created some dimension on my background. This is a really easy technique, and there's really no difficulty involved in doing this. You just simply rip your paper, and if you want to have bigger clouds, you make bigger tears, and if you want to have more subtle clouds like I have, then you have smaller tears. And then you just take your blending tool and you move your paper down to create some layers of clouds. Alright, so once I was happy with the blue background, I did want to go ahead and add my flowers. Now the flowers that I'm using are from an old Tim Holtz stamp set, and I was actually able to find it, and I listed it below for you. I think it was on Amazon actually, but this is a set I've had for years, and it probably was one of my first sets that I got when I started working with some of the Tim Holtz stamps. But it's a really perfect silhouette stamp, and it created some great flowers. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and speed up the video and turn on some music for you while I finish off my page, and then I'll be back at the end of the video to finish it off. So hopefully I'm not bumming everybody out too much with my page here. I just really wanted to celebrate CJ's life and document him in my art journal because he was part of my art process along the ways. In my studio, he always laid underneath my table right by my feet, and he helped me with my creative process every single day. And while he did get sick in the end, and I did lose him, of course, he had a wonderful life. He was 11 years old, and he probably was one of the most loved dogs and one of the most spoiled dogs you could ever meet. So even though he was cut short a few years, because he probably could have lasted a few more years during his 11 years of life, he had a really good life, and he was loved very, very much. So hopefully you'll celebrate his life with me and not be too sad for me in losing my little CJ. So hopefully you've enjoyed my page and my process today. Art is not only about being creative, but it's also about documenting your feelings. And that's really what my art page was about today, was just documenting my feelings and celebrating CJ's life. So as always, I will leave a list of all the products that I've used to create the page, along with the links to the shops. If you've enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate a thumbs up, and leave me a comment. Let me know if you have a little pet that lives with you, or a pet that you had in the past. I would love to hear what kind of pet you had, as well as his name. Pets are very important in our life, and sometimes they are like our children, because they not only give you company, but they also give you unconditional love. And that's really what my dog was about, was just all the unconditional love that he gave me every single day. Now, the sentiment that I used at the bottom of the page, you might not be able to read, but what it says is a garden to walk in and immensity to dream in. What more could one ask? A few flowers at our feet, and above us the stars. So this finishes off my page, everybody. I hope that you've enjoyed my process. And remember, art journaling is personal. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just an expression of how you might be feeling from one day to the next. And I'm glad that I was here today to share my feelings and my thoughts with you. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by. And I did include a little picture of my CJ for you at the end here, along with some close-ups of my page. We'll see you again next time.